So I don't always know what to talk about in my videos, and that's why I need some feedback. I need people to please tell me what I should be talking about. Tell me what you would like me to discuss, and ask me any question you have, anything you have been thinking about in your life, any kind of question that arises out of it. I will probably most likely not going to be answering those questions in terms of giving you a definite, recipe for how to live your life. I'm not going to be your problem solver or something, or certainly I am definitely not going to be an authority of anything, for anything, because I'm just a living being myself, I'm an explorer. But maybe that what I have explored for myself, that I will give in response to you, will be invigorating in some way. Maybe will give you some inspiration. I'll put it that way, because I don't want to make it look like, you just need to ask someone and they will give you a definite answer and they will say, okay, now I'm your guru, I will tell you how to live your life. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way with any guru or anyone or anything. You know, nobody, no doctor, no scientist has the ultimate answer for us. Okay, those are all approximations. Those are all just processes of approaching an answer, approaching a solution. So all is just a never-ending, continuous process of thoughts. And that's wonderful, that's what life is all about. There are no definite answers, and there are many venues, and there are many venues that I know are not good, and that is my food for thought. I cannot, I don't dictate anything to anyone. People accuse me of being a dictator or a rule changer. Wow, they give me a lot of power, those people. Never intended something like this. So, no, I'm just someone who stands her ground. I'm just someone who doesn't look at other people as a guide, as a guideline, or look at other people for approval for something. I dig in myself. I try to really ask myself deeper questions. What do I really need? What do I really want? And why? And all I can say is it worked for me to do that, so it probably works for other people, but I don't know. Maybe it doesn't work for you. Maybe some people can't deal with this. Some people can't deal with being on their own. I know some people. I have to be a little easy with them. They sit in snail houses and they're terrified. So I can't be prying that snail house open like this. All I can do is maybe I can put a little bit, I can throw some confetti of hearts into it that will be nourishing to that shivering being in the snail house, and hopefully that some of those hard confettis that dissolve and recycle into love, I hope that will heal and help. And that's all I can do. I can't force anyone, and we shouldn't force anyone if people want to be adhering to a religion or a specific world view. If people hate nudity, for example, which is, of course, it comes out of fear and terror, and it comes out of religion. But I'm not going to pry their snare houses open and say, no, you need to come out of your comfort zone and so on. I would never do this. I mean, it is probably healthy to come out of your comfort zone. But you know what? I'm not even coming much out of my comfort zone. So how can I expect other people to do it? I have become more and more of a hermit. And I live in a beautiful, beautiful place. And we walk our talk in terms of environmentalism. And it's nice. So, and every time I leave this beautiful paradise, I don't feel so comfortable when I come out and go into a store or have to walk through, meander my way around cigarette butts on a parking lot. I don't feel so good. It feels really nasty to me. If there's an energy that emanates from people's trash that they just recklessly throw down. And they don't necessarily do it out of maliciousness. They do it out of a state of giving up. We have observed, my husband and I, we have observed a homeless man who was completely at the total bottom, like completely giving up on himself. And he was sitting there on a curb and near McDonald's, and between him and McDonald's, the door was a trash can. And a person was coming, and she felt sorry. She went in McDonald's, she got him a whole bunch of food, probably horrible non-vegan food, and she gave that to him. He ate it, and we observed the whole thing. He ate all of this, and then he just left everything, all the packaging, everything, right there where he was sitting. He gets up and he walks towards the entrance door of the McDonald's, past the trash can, but he leaves the trash at the other place where he was sitting before. Instead of taking that trash, the lady was so kind to give him food. Instead of taking that trash and going towards the trash can and throwing it into the trash can, he just leaves it there, but then walks past that trash can where he was walking by anyway. So this is just like one of the perfect examples of someone who has completely given up on caring, on others, on the greater good, on himself, on ethics, on morals, on love, on kindness, and particularly on loving himself, on grooming himself. And that reminds me now of a visit to a primate center that we did a long time ago with the Rotary Club. In Germany, my parents are in the Rotary Club, and that consists of scientists and different professionals who bring their information, all of their interesting things that they want to contribute to society. They bring this to the table, and each person talks about it. They have a rotary system of people of a person who is the president, and that rotates, then the next person is president, so that way it stays sort of democratic. It used to be very male based. It no longer is, because people are evolving into more intellectual people, and so, but it's still, from what I have observed, it's still very patriarchal. But I would never join something like this. But anyway, we went together with all these other scientists and doctors and stuff. We went to a primate center in Göttingen, Germany, and it and there was a person from the United States who gave a presentation, and it looked like the young professor, Dr. Robert Sapolsky. So that's what it looks. That's what I have in my memory. A very curly young man. Now he is an older guy, and that was very interesting. And the way he spoke, spoke so well, And I think it was him. He was invited to give a tour and presentation there, and he and some other people that were working there and that were observing the primates that were living in a specific territory. It wasn't as terrible as a zoo, but it was more like a sanctuary. They had it pretty well there, but still it's not their natural climate zone, it is not their natural habitat, and it's not a vast desert where they can roam, or jungle. So it's confined, and it probably gets very boring. But anyway, what they described is in different monkey species that they have observed, this in all of them, is that when an individual was cast out of the group, I don't know what their reasoning was, but when someone was not accepted in the group anymore, and one of the primates had to live outside of the group, that primate stopped grooming himself. And so that statement never left my mind, because that really made a lot of sense. And immediately I knew that this was the case with all species, with all social animals, humans, dogs, and all mammals, and many birds. All the highly sentient beings who are social, who like to live in families and groups and so on. It's very, very, very stressful to be cast out. And that's also why people will go through tremendous lengths to stay acceptable in a group. I may be a complete exception with this, because I've always been able to see beyond that football stadium wall. I don't know why. Maybe it's a present, maybe it is some kind of ability, some kind of, I don't know, it's some kind of psychic ability or something, that I was able to see beyond this. It's also caused me a lot of problems, of course. I don't fit in anywhere. I only have 2 physical friends, Dave, my basset hound, and my husband Paul. And then I have Barbara, who is a, a lifetime friend in Germany. And once in a while, maybe twice a year, I talk to my brother. And my mother emails me every 3 to 4 months or something, and says that that was nice that she could finally get another email from me, even though I email right away. Every time she emails me, I email right away back. And I email another 3 times, and then I don't hear from her for 3 months, and then I give up writing because I think that maybe my emails are going on her nerves. So, yeah, that's just the natural reaction. You know, you don't want to keep pestering someone if they don't want to write back. Whatever her reasoning is, whether she just doesn't know how to email, or whether she's in denial, and that's it doesn't matter what her reasoning is. If she doesn't write back, then I don't see why I should write anymore, because then I think like, okay, maybe it's going on her nerves or something. But yeah, so this is how I react, when people don't like me. Okay, I'm not gonna try to make myself more likable. It would never happen. That also has to do with stubbornness. It also has to do probably with some ego. And it has to do with just not being willing to. I'm just not willing to wear crutches and walk on crutches if I don't have to, you know? I mean this in a metaphorical sense. So why should I adhere to a religion just to be liked by other people? Why should I dress in a way or have my hair in a way just so that other people will think I am one of them, or I will be liked more? That doesn't make any sense to me. That would be, I would feel like I would feel like I enslave myself. I would feel like I'm betraying myself. I'm a free spirit. I'm an artist. I have very high inspirations for design and shape and color, and that is totally unlimited. And my art does not care the slightest bit whether someone thinks that's clownish, ridiculous, or stupid, or bad, or whether lots of people have criticized my art. It doesn't interest me at all. It also doesn't interest me what other people think about my handbags or my shoes or my wardrobe. I remember in Venice Beach, I was walking down the boardwalk. I was like 28, and people were looking at me funny, and I was wearing like a camouflage overall, like a overall with a bib, and I had some kind of flower pattern shirt on, and then on top of that I had a jacket made by this real amazing woman that makes these patchwork padded jackets. People would say, "What are you doing? You wearing your comforter as a jacket?" Or, "What is that? Is that the pajama jacket?" Or people on the street would comment. I thought it was interesting. And then I had these really big platform sneakers on. And so I was walking down there, dangling along with my pot haircut. And this very heavy black woman with her girlfriend. They were coming towards me, and she started to scream at me and say, and she says, "Fuck that whole wardrobe." It's like, okay, all right, see ya, and I just kept walking, and I was just very, very surprised at all of these people, how they would like take almost personal offense to what some stranger is wearing, whereas it's really none of anyone's business what anyone is wearing there, and there's a lot of people who are wearing some very freestyle clothing, and but I was the one who gets to be screamed and hollered at and stared at with hostility. But since I'm tall and big, people they don't they're a little bit skittish in doing more, in coming closer and hitting me or something. They can tell that that lady, you better not mess with her. You do some drive-by hollering, but that's it. Holler, holler, quickly run away. One time, guy stops and hollers something obscene. He had a bunch of girls in the car, and I had these orange boots on, that came up to mid-calf, and so orange hiking boots. They looked pretty amazing in my opinion, but obviously not for other people. So he hollered something, and I walked straight over to him to want to know what he wants. And as I was walking briskly towards him, he quickly winds the window up and shoots off with his car. And I was looking as they were driving off, and this one girl in the back was looking at me right in my eyes, and she had a shocked look on her face. And I don't know what really went through her head, probably a confusion of this entire situation. Like, confused about me walking towards them, not being afraid of being bullied, and in shock that I would be standing like a Thor thumb in society, and not being afraid of that. And also in shock about that guy, how he reacted towards someone like me, would stop there and holler something. That is how much my appearance has an effect on other people. It's quite amazing. Yeah, I mean, I could look much more like Anna Breitenbach. She's an animal communicator, and she looks very decent, and she has long hair, very similar hair to mine, very similar eyebrow shape, eyes, face, but she is not fat. She is slender. Has long hair. She is very well, like liberal type of outfit, like very warm style, clothing style, and warm, feminine, pleasing, fitting in a mellow, nice way, kind way. So I could look like this, but the artist in me does not allow that. I mean, I think she looks very beautiful, very nice and cool and everything great. But the artist in me cannot allow that. So, yeah, this is very interesting. I don't know. I don't, I don't know why that is. Some people think this is a pathology. you're pathological if you don't fit in. You must be pathological if you have to fit in. You need to be like everyone else, then you will be accepted by society. You know, I can't even get a company to have a commercial in front of my videos or at the end or in the middle. Like have a washing detergent commercial in the middle of me talking about the dissolution of the self. That is kind of strange. You know, they will figure, wait a minute, that would be counterproductive for our washing detergent. I don't think anyone would buy it. And so the other day I got a notification from YouTube why my videos are not accepted for commercials. Click here for the reasons. So, okay, yeah, there were some. I was showing my new dress that I've sewn with a bit flesh and cleavage, but I didn't see anything wrong with that. But it was not. It didn't fit in, into society. So how can they possibly put a commercial there? They want people to buy their products, right? So they can only do this with people who look politically correct, with everything. You can even be having tattoos all over your body. You can have a spiky hair cut, with a lot of punk spikes and with shaved here and tattooed the whole face. You can still make commercials, but someone like me with that butt haircut, no, that does not fit in. That's not popular. No, that is not popular on every single level. And for some reason, it gives me a thrill. For some reason, it's like, cool. I really succeeded with this, and it kind of gives me energy, and it kind of makes me want to keep going and doing more and figuring out in the most intricate ways and the most subtle ways of going against society's stream. So, and I've become very good at it now. And it's just this part of me being an artist, So the shapes I make and everything, the focus on the shapes and I usually like the shapes that other people reject. So it's very interesting. But then on a very subconscious level, lots of this seems to be, so one thing I know for sure is that when it comes to sexuality, the very puffy, chubby, marshmallowish type of shapes are desired among men. So I know that for sure. And some women like it too. So I am straight, but I had girlfriends who have told me that they think that my shape is very sexy and my feet and all of this. And I thought that was interesting, and some of them are bisexual. And they were good looking too, but I don't feel romantic with another woman, but I feel like I care about them and they're my friends and so on. But I like to observe and I like to talk to people about this and what they like, and it's very interesting. So, but what I see, I definitely see that men really like the bigger, rounder, they like the white skin and all. Even though all of this is resisted in society. So in society, it has the skinny thing has taken on a pathological side turn where the ego took over because it was unconscious. And that's why anorexia happened in so many people. Because the ego took over and the ego said, the thinner you are, the more elegant you are. So if they already had zero body fat, the ego still said, mirror, mirror on the wall, the thinner you are, the more elegant you are. You want to be elegant? You better not eat at all. So, and that ended in death. And that's what the ego does. The ego does not stop at any point in time. The ego will continue to say to you, if you want to be even more elegant, you eat even less. But this has nothing to do anymore with sexuality. Even a slender woman is not as desired. But I'm just saying it the way it is. Sorry, this is what I'm observing. I'm not saying I'm super desired or anything. I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about what I observe. And I also what I observe when I see particularly when men are creating their dream woman in an animation character. That's what really says it to you. That's the animation character says. I am showing you right now. That's what the animation character Babette says. I'm showing you right now what all men want. And so obviously she still has some very slender waist, and that still comes from the ego. But what I see in chat rooms and on the internet is that most men don't even want the photo model. They don't even want this. The status symbol look that comes from the ego again, the ego of pride. When they are really letting go and letting their sexuality dictate to them, it really, when it strips all the egoic pride type of things, or the shame of being shamed in society and all of this, when that all falls off and it comes down to sexuality pure, then they want a young, chubby, they want an overweight woman, not obese, but plump and full, with big breasts, big hips, big butt, big thighs, soft skin, cute face, and big mouth. I don't have big mouth. So all of this is small nose, but not skinny Barbie, but plump Barbie, plump doll face. So, and not big hair, but what they really like is hair that's kind of straight, that's kind of flat on. That used to be not the case in the 80s. They fluffed their hair up there, but now it's like this, very very soft, flat hair like this, smooth, that tickles the penis a little bit. So that's what men want. I see it very clearly. So, and But the ego doesn't accept. The ego, see, the ego says, you stay there, I will come later to you. I'm taking Mrs. Twiggy Skinny anorexic out to dinner because I want to show off that I'm a rich guy and I have, that's what they say and that's what they think. So they take the skinny woman out to dinner to show off, and it's all unconscious. So this, and the other one is objectified, and the other one is lusted after, and that's what the pure sexual drive wants, the other one. And I talked about this before many times, and all of this I find very, very interesting to observe. And this is a subject, obviously, also that no one talks about, because if you see a guy, for example, say talking about what the women, how a woman is supposed to be for them, most of them, the vast majority, would not admit that they like the chubbier women. There's only a handful of men who actually admit that. And the ones who admit that, they actually get hated, because the other ones who don't admit it but also do it, they do it in secret. They are afraid. It triggers their egos when they see that someone admits it. So that's why the hate comes out. It's very interesting, all of this. This is all because people are so incredibly unconscious about all of their mechanisms, of all of their psychological mechanisms that are going on. So incredibly unconscious. So it's already 36 minutes. I need to wrap it up now. But so what I wanted to say is, let's find that very interesting also about the homeless people and this giving up, this people giving up on themselves and on everything. And it appears to me, when I look at the dirt and filth that people leave behind on parking lots, and the filth that they dump into natural habitats and natural places like wetlands and bird sanctuaries and estuaries, that goes to show that, first of all, we have really terrible waste management incentives. Okay, all of this, all of these governmental incentives, they need to be completely reformed if we want to do better than this. But all of this dumping and all of this leaving trash behind and all of this on parking lots too, even though there are some trash cans on the parking lots, they will just dump it. That goes to show that this is a scenario just like in the Primate Center. And what I see is, and I'm not throwing the judge hammer and saying these terrible, no good people or something. It's sad. It makes me very sad. But I also see the reason. I see the underlying reason why these people are behaving like this. It's like the outcast primates, and this applies to all ethnic groups. I mean, it's like I'm not saying that I'm not saying that this one group is better than the other in any way. What I'm referring to right now is people who usually don't have a very high education level. But also, I've seen it also in universities, not as much, but so it is the higher the person is educated, the more they take care of their surroundings. So, but it has much to do with this feeling of, like the primate who is outcast, and who doesn't think much of himself anymore, and they kind of give up. They give up grooming themselves, and they give up taking care of their surroundings. And this is a very dangerous thing when that happens. And I want to shed light on it. I want to bring awareness to this. And I want to tell people, don't let it come to that point. Never, never give up on your bodies and on taking care and on hygiene and on being a good steward for your environment, not just your home, but also where you go shopping, where you go hiking, wherever you go, when you go to a cafe or entertainment or wherever you are going. Take care. Be the one who takes care of the surrounding. Be the one who's kind to others. You know. So and then see how that feels. You know. That's a must. You know. It's just a start, and then see where it takes you psychologically. If you feel like if some people actually feel like they're being exploited for having to do this, you know. No, we all have to do it equally much. No one is exploited. This is this is our responsibility. We live here together on this planet, you know. We need to make it nice for each other. We each have a responsibility for this. We have a responsibility to be good groomers for ourselves. Do it even if it feels bad, or even if you give up or you don't want to do it. Do it anyway. You know, I've seen women in mental wards and closed mental wards. I've seen women in LA who they scream when the nurses take them and put them under the shower. They scream they don't want to be washed. It goes that far. It's so incredibly sad when the person is giving up to that point on themselves, and where everything is unconscious. And that's why it is so incredibly important that we shed light, that we become conscious, as conscious as we can possibly become, and then things will brighten up, and our lives will become so much better. You will be amazed how much better it will become. But it's a gradual, very gradual process. But we want to go in that direction. You don't want to go in the backwards direction. You want to go back towards the light, towards the making everything better, cleaner, more wonderful. Okay? So you guys take care. Bye bye.